So a few days ago, I got an interesting comment under one of my full day of eating videos. So basically, you have to use protein powders on a vegan diet. I'm not sure if this person was trolling or genuinely curious if you needed protein powder on a vegan diet, but I filmed a full day of eating to build muscle and to lose fat without using any sort of protein powder. I'm going to show you guys how to hit your protein goals without the need of protein powders. Now, I'm not against protein powders. I think they make things so much easier. They just make life easier, but it is not compulsory. And I'm going to show you guys how. My first meal is pretty much just oats with chia seeds, flax seeds, and almond milk and peanut butter. So I started off with 50 grams, which is one serve of protein oats, 2 tablespoons of ground chia seeds and 2 teaspoons of chia seeds and 2 teaspoons of ground flax seeds. Now, what I did was I mixed these two things up together, so ground chia seeds and ground flax seeds, because I always use it together, so it's just easier. So if I need 2 teaspoons of each, I just use 4 teaspoons, and I get 2 teaspoons of each. And then I added in about 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk. And of course, you don't have to use almond milk. I would have used water, but I had almond milk left over, so why not? And then I mixed this up. And as you can see, the protein 28 grams of protein, 31 grams of carbs, and 32 grams of fat. Now, I did add 1 tablespoon of peanut butter on this, but the camera did not get that part. So I did add 1 tablespoon of crunchy peanut butter. So this is a really good starting meal for me because I don't like having something too heavy at the start of my day, especially before I train. I want to be light and I just get sick. If I eat too much before the gym, I just get really gassy, really bloated, and just feel like I need to go to the bathroom constantly. So I like to keep my pre-workout meals really light and not too complicated. So that was my first meal for the day. Now my second meal is this Fable plant-based product that I found at Coles. There's a local grocery store where I live called Coles, and they had this Fable premium plant-based stroganoff. It's not something that I would have every single day. This is a one-off. And the only time that I would ever buy vegan products like this, like vegan meals or mock meat and stuff like that, is when it's on sale. And I just had to heat this up for 3 minutes and it was ready. Now, obviously, you have to eat clean, and this isn't the healthiest meal, but if you want to build muscle, if you want to lose fat, you have to get on some kind of meal plan. It's now I hate using the word diet, but you have to enjoy the foods that you're eating, and you should be able to eat those foods for life. And having meals like this every once in a while, it really helps me. It like resets my mind and it just hits that craving spot because we all crave things. I crave foods and I don't I don't give in to them. I just find alternative ways of hitting that spot. And this meal was that meal for me. And I actually really liked this. This was really nice tasting and it really filled me up. And one good thing about ready-made meals like this, it's not the healthiest, of course, but it's easy to track the macros. You just have to scan the barcode and you have all of the macros, the carbs, protein, everything in MyFitnessPal. You don't have to measure anything. So if you get one of these meals, all you have to do is scan the barcodes and add it into your MyFitnessPal. Now, this particular meal wasn't too bad. It was a bit high on the fat, but every once in a while it doesn't really matter. I still hit my calories at the end of the day, and that's the only thing that really matters. 15 grams of protein, 25 grams of carbs, and 26.3 grams of fat. It really hit the spot, and I still hit my calories at the end of the day. So now for my third meal, I heated up 1 tablespoon of vegan butter and added in 2 medium onions, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. So what I'm pretty much making is a curry. Pretty much the same recipe that I use for every other curry, but I'm going to add in chickpeas. Now, I'm going to have the spice mix for this curry down in the description box. Really simple ingredients, and added in half a can of Italian diced tomatoes. So then I added in 1 can of chickpeas, including the water that it comes with. And then I added in one of my favorite vegetables used a lot in Indian curries called okra. Now I had half a bag of frozen okra and I just added this in and covered it for about 6-7 minutes on low heat. And then I added in about 1 tablespoon of coriander, chopped coriander, mixed it through, and that's pretty much it. I measured out 2 cups of rice, 185 grams each, so 370 grams of cooked basmati rice, and I just added that straight to the curry because it's just easier. I know exactly how much to eat, so I then mixed this, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, 30 grams of carbs, sorry, 30 grams of protein, 123 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of fat. Now, for my next meal, I'm using this lower carb soy and toasted sesame bread, which is incredibly high protein. I used 1 slice of cheese, and I am using 1 serving of nut meat. It's pretty much just peanuts and water, and you can find it in any, I think you can find it in any grocery store, Coles, Woolworths, any local grocery store in Australia. And it's just, it's so high in protein. And if you cook it right, if you use it right, it's amazing what you can do with nut meat and the protein content. It's crazy. It comes in like a small 400-gram can, I think, small little can, but that can has like 90 grams of protein. How I cook nut meat, I honestly just put it on a saucepan with a little bit of water. I don't feel like I need to use any oil or any butter. I just use water and I just add some basic spices, garlic and herb seasoning. That's all. I don't use any complicated spices. I just use garlic and herb seasoning and just stir it around until it's all heated up. And then I added it straight into this sandwich that I'm making. And this is a quick little easy meal. 50 grams of protein, which is crazy if you think about it. It looks like it's such a small meal, but it's 50 grams of protein because of the bread and because of the nut meat, and a little bit from the cheese, not that much, but 50 grams of protein just in this little sandwich is crazy. 30 grams of carbs, 26 grams of fat. Nice macro friendly meal, and as you can see, it looks really nice. And once I put it in a sandwich press and the cheese melts all over the nut meat, and it's just, it tastes so good. Now for my final meal, I'm making a quick tofu scramble. So I'm gonna try to get in a lot more vegetables in this meal. So I added in a bunch of frozen capsicum that I had in the freezer. And pretty much for this meal, I just used whatever frozen vegetables that I could find. Once they were almost finished, I just used the rest of it just as a Hail Mary to get in as many vegetables as I could because I struggle getting in vegetables, which is why I try to add in as much as I can into my curries and into meals like tofu scramble. Now, I just put all these in a saucepan, put some little bit of water, and then I scrambled up 200 grams of tofu. Now I added in a little bit of turmeric just to get the coloring to look more like egg, and 1 teaspoon of black salt, which is the main key ingredient to make this taste like egg, to make this taste like scramble. It makes all the difference in the world. 100% use black salt. If you're ever making tofu scramble, use black salt. You can get it from your local Asian grocery store, Indian grocery store. 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, and just stir this through. And like always, if it sticks to the pan, just add in a little bit of water and it'll be fine. And there you go. As you can see, that yellow flavor, it looks exactly like egg scramble. And high protein, we didn't use any oil to make this. 31 grams of carbs, 0.4 grams of, sorry, 31 grams of protein, 0.4 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat. I ended up eating 154 grams of protein, 209 grams of carbs, and 119 grams of fat. The total came out to be 2,638 calories. Now, as you can see, the fats way higher, and I've exceeded my fat goals, but my carbs are a bit lower, and it doesn't matter. Well, that's one thing that I've learned. That's one thing that I recommend is don't be too strict about your carbs and your fat. Now keep your protein the same. I always keep my protein around 150 grams of protein, but my carbs and fat, it changes every single day. But as long as I'm hitting my caloric range, which is 2,600 to 2,700, anywhere in that range, as long as I'm hitting that, that's all that matters to me. And as long as I'm getting enough protein, which is 150 grams for me, that's all that matters. Some days my carbs would be higher, I'd just bring my fat lower. Some days my fat is higher, I just bring my carbs lower. It's all a balancing game, but once you're used to it, it becomes so easy. Now, if you've just started doing this, it might look complicated, but trust me, I've been doing this for a long time. And the extra 20, 30 seconds it takes to measure out your food and to log it into your MyFitnessPal, you get used to it. And once you get used to it, you get so much more freedom because you can eat anything. All you have to do, you could go out and log anything into your MyFitnessPal, and it's just an easy way of tracking your macros. And I've always used MyFitnessPal, and I highly recommend everyone, if you're serious about lifting, if you're serious about putting on muscle, find a way. You don't. It doesn't have to be MyFitnessPal, but find a way that you can track your calories. Because if you don't track your calories, you don't know if you're eating too much, if you're eating too less. Because I've met a lot of people who say that they're eating a lot of food and can't put on any muscle or any size, and then I ask them how much they're eating, and they don't know. They're purely taking a guess. And you don't, if you've never counted calories or macros before, you have no idea how much you're eating. You just have no idea. And as you can see, we don't have to use any kind of protein supplement. Everything that we ate, we got it from food, which I love. And protein powder, like I said at the start, it's not something you absolutely need. It does make life easier, but most days I would say I don't use protein powder because I just love food too much and I end up getting all my protein from food. But on days that I'm either traveling or I'm working long hours, then protein powder comes in handy because I can just easily make a shake, make a smoothie, and get in my protein for the day without struggling. I don't have to struggle to cook a bunch of food, eat a bunch of food. I can just make a protein shake and have it anytime during the day with some water. But apart from that, you don't need protein powder, and it's absolutely not necessary to build muscle or to lose fat on a vegan lifestyle because it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. But if you feel like you need protein powder, go for it. But it's not absolutely necessary. And it's not something you have to rely on, like you saw today. All you have to do is plan your meals out in advance and you will be fine. Get in some kind of protein, at least some kind of protein in all of your meals, and you will easily hit your protein goals. Thank you guys so much for watching. So comment down below how often you use protein powder and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.